That beam closes the common sides of the compass, tucked away in the shadows of the reference section where the sunlight never quite managed to reach. He was supposed to be researching the oil industry for his history project, but his eyes kept wandering to the strange, uneven brickwork behind a shelf of oversized atlases. There was a gap there, a sliver of darkness that seemed to swallow the dim light of the library. "I found it behind the wall," Leo whispered, showing them the brass instrument. "It was hidden. Look at the engravings on the side. It says property of Silas Thornace. I know on the cloth the flayer were primest in the process. Cabs firms the librarian may be creations. I know for you was trying. She follow. Canis formation describes the make space in the compass. I am dreams for you ache given he back." The autumn air was crisp, carrying the scent of dry leaves and wood smoke. They moved quickly through the cobblestone streets of Oakhaven, a town built on steep hills and secrets. The compass seemed to grow warmer against his chest, vibrating with an intensity that made his skin tingle. Every few minutes they stopped in an alleyway to check their direction. "We shouldn't be doing this alone," Toby said. He said he'd say there were years in Cisidans and Tedetus toppers. Tales is Weltaman, a monolith of granite and iron. We should tell Mr. Henderson and the Alderman by Bing's time. Their Ascays was meant to be found by someone who he had to compass cause evers. Perfect to like more made shoulders in the wave to carry no Malvin tires places opposed to Woy and his Leo's jacket pocket. Because of invitation to the hole and turned it, there was a sound of grinding metal like a giant pole within the skein. Perfect when in his hermitas to see Tilden Semitic gauge. The compass is brighter. We're getting close to something brighter. We're getting close to something that pried us as he entered for Gyre as they went deeper. The sound of the town above fading until all they could hear was the rhythmic thumping of the great clock's mechanism far above them. It sounded like a giant's heartbeat, steady and relentless head. Hollis Thorne wasn't just making timepieces. He was trying to control time itself. He believed that if he could synchronize every clock in the town to a single master gear, he could freeze a moment forever. Leo was drawn to a pedestal at the far end of the room. On it sat a glass dome, and inside the dome was a golden gear, shimmering with an inner light. It was the heart of the workshop, but as he approached, his foot caught on a tripwire hidden in the dust. The chaos of the ticking clocks was deafening now, a wall of noise that made it hard to think. Leo scrambled toward the central, his mind racing. There had to be a way to reset the mechanism. Silas Thorne wouldn't have built a trap without a solution. He was a man of logic, of gears and ratios. For a sequence, Leo shouted over the noise, "Termas thy itis vanding tate in the clock." He felt a hidden switch on the back and flipped it. It's fine, Leo lied, his voice cracking. "I just dropped the casing. I have the main gear right here. I can fix it. Just give me a second." He scooped up the broken pieces, hiding the ruined internal mechanism in his palm. He knew he couldn't fix it. He knew he had just destroyed their only way out. The chaos of the ticking clocks was deafening now. I know. Orphing, the man's mom didolo, but so morns. Look, everything's tighting and very scold his belted off. Shallers to sew with it to this man in years. Silas Thorne from clock to clock. Wait, this one? Over here. It's the only one that's going backward. Toby that his eyes bright. The gold gear under the dome. It's the same size as the main gear and the compass. If we swap them, maybe we can restart the whole system. His hands were shaking so violently that the brass shards clinked together like tiny bells. He was trying to find a way, any way, to make the gears move, but the central spring was snapped, a jagged line of steel that mocked his efforts. How was it coming, Leo? His eyes bright. The gold gear under the dome. It's the same size as the main gear and the compass. If we swap them, maybe we can restart the whole system. The arm bars over the door suddenly retracted with a loud clang. The engine that drove Silas Thorne's grand design. They had only seconds left before the red sand finished its descent. Leo grabbed a heavy brass wrench from the table, his knuckles white. The glass dome shattered into 1,000 glittering shards. Instantly, the humming sound rose to a scream. The golden gear began to spin faster and faster, throwing off sparks of pure white light. Leo reached into the chaos, his fingers stinging as he grabbed the central spindle. He pulled the gear free, and the screaming stopped, replaced by a deep, resonant thrum that shook the floorboards. Now! The compass casing, Sarah shouted. They etched the compass into the indentation. A series of clicks matched the beating of the compass in Leo's hand. They saw a cat frozen in mid-leap across a garden fence, and a car stopped at a green light with no driver in sight. It was as if the world had become a photograph. "Did we do this?" Toby whispered, his voice sounding thin in the absolute silence. "Did we stop time for everyone?" The tower and the workshop. He felt a sense of responsibility he hadn't messed. "We have to know the truth. For the town. For Thorn." He placed the compass into the indentation. A series of clicks, much louder than the ones at the tower, rang out. The lid of the sarcophagus began to slide back, not with the sound of stone on stone, but with the smooth hiss of well-oiled machinery. Inside there was no body. Instead and den they reaving common business. The compass was my way out. I needed some to turn the walls of the fire crackled in a hearth that seemed to have no chimney. In a large velvet armchair sat an old man, his hair as white as a cloud and his eyes the color of a summer sky. He was holding a pocket watch, his thumb rhythmically rubbing the casing. I almost didn't. I lied to them told Novan logs, Marius to play. I pulled the compass to see beneath his cheeks. I almost didn't. I lied to them. I tried to hide that I'd broken it. Thurn nodded. But you didn't keep the lie, Leo. That is the difference. A lie is a gear that doesn't turn. It jams the whole machine. The telling must turn you. The telling must change in the corner. The compass was my way out. The old man took it with a reverence that was touching to behold. He walked to the central machine and placed the compass into a slot at the very top. The blue light of the compass merged with the golden light of the machine, creating a brilliant purple hue that filled the room. "This will reset the synchronization," Thorn explained, his hands moving over the controls with expert. "The town will wake up, and they will remember nothing of this night. To them it will be as if a single second passed. But for you, the memory will remain. A reminder that time is a gift, not a resource to be hoarded." "What will happen to you?" Toby asked, his Brantham wave of phase. "You have an Anza, a Tay, and their Morming End Street. Here was 1013 behame before another is your famous." Mr. Henderson's expression softened. "Well, honesty is a rare thing these days. I appreciate that, Leo. See that you do. And did you find what you were looking for?" We had Sarah and Toby at the library entrance, and they shared a knowing look. Mr. Henderson was at the front desk, looking more frazzled than usual. "Someone was poking around the reference section yesterday," he grumbled, peering over his spectacles. "Left a nest of the compass stories alive and the gears of history turning. And sometimes on a quiet night when the moon was full, they would walk past the great clock tower and listen. Underneath the steady tick